Good evening. We're just a little over 24 hours away from a massive clash at the SCG. And we'll know a little bit more about Collingwood's season after that game, to be truthful. How are we feeling? What's been interesting this week for me, guys? I'm not trying to throw shade at Carlton, but God, have their fans thrown up a fucking sook? I don't know what it is that they're necessarily complaining about. I don't care as so much to look into that. But it's just interesting to see the reaction post what we've had to go through as a club. And then Carlton hit this little bump in a road and they're just sooking it up. It's interesting. What do we think about that? Who have we got in the chat? Alex, how are ya? You keen for the game? Baz. Big bad Baz. Hey, bro, big game. Need a win. Feeling great. Yeah? How are we feeling about the Sydney game? I'm a bit nervous. I think Sydney, it's not a good matchup, but I'm hopeful. We should be able to win this game if Sydney play like that shit. True. That is true. If Sydney keep playing the way they're playing, we should be able to beat them. If St Kilda can fucking beat them, surely we can beat them, right? Surely. But in saying that, we've also lost against Sydney and St Kilda. Sharma champs. 72, man. How's Perth, brother? Caleb. For those who don't know, Caleb is in Perth. A little bit of a work trip. I'm good. How are you? Carlton are the biggest whingers. Sometimes. G'day, Ant. Timmy, how are ya? Thrilled for the game. MD Melbourne, here he is. How are ya? Milestone game for Mr. Howie as well. Jeremy Howe, 250. Fuck, you get the rough end of the stick if you have to play your milestone game after Pendles. Like, 250 is a massive effort. And then you just, unfortunately, you're playing your 250th after Pendles. It's unfortunate. Frampton keeping Kerno goalless. That's naughty. Maybe that's why all the Carlton fans are upset. I think I'm just going to throw a bit of shade at Carlton tonight. Try and rile some people up just for the heck of it, just for the fun of it. Yeah, it's going to be a hard game, but I believe we can do it. Yep. Howie 250 plus 2025 trigger game. Interesting. Moore's on Kerno, but yes, Frampton was more so on Mackay. On break. Let's go, champ. Hey, mate, I'm confident. It's Big Kev. Big Kev's in the chat. Good time to get them. 250 is elite Sharma. Hopefully the boys are fired up. I mean, I just feel like the social media around it has come around late in the week. Like, I reckon had it not been Pendle's 400th last week, I feel like the media around how his 250th would have started much earlier. Would have been much more profound. But it's cool. Kick it to Kerno is Carlton's game plan. Come on, Diggsy, keep it going. What else have you got? Got a feeling Bobby's going to destroy Sydney. Mackay, small forwards. You're not nervous about this match, TCR. Is that just because of how bad Sydney have been? Warner going to poke his tongue out with that stupid shaved head and kick our collective asses. I'm confident about tomorrow night. Thinking of flying up to watch the game and sleep on a park bench with MD. I'm not sure if you've heard the story, but many of the viewers have. Caleb and I took a bus to the 2022 prelim final to Sydney. It was glorious on the way there, and it was quite the opposite on the way back. Yeah. So, if you go, enjoy. House Becky's a lock, brother. Absolute lock. It's a lock. I've got a feeling we can just beat Sydney. Going to boo Adams. Love Grundy, not his fault. Yeah. Fair call. It's because they're playing like shit right now. We smashed Port. But, yeah, it'll be interesting. Pies bring that elite pressure and capitalize opportunities that we can win. We do our best as underdogs. I watched that yesterday, lol, on the train coming home from work. So you heard the story. Yeah, forever in Pies footy folklore, that one. Not for the right reasons. The trip up to Sydney. Big Kev reckons, to be honest, I'm not scared if Sydney purely okay, let me rephrase that for you, Kev. To be honest, I'm not scared of Sydney purely based on bad form, and I don't think Sydney are good enough to win big finals. Well, Kev, huge, mate. That's a huge call. Huge call. Breaking. Love watching. Hey, cheers, Baz. Baz, how long have you been supporting Pies Footy for? Like the channel? How did you come across the channel? I'm intrigued. But what else what did Caleb and I talk about yesterday with Riles that maybe we can talk about here a little bit more? You reckon the Brisbane match scares you? See, the funny thing is, I'm more confident. Call me crazy. I don't know how I rationalize this, but I think I'm more confident about the Brisbane game next week than this game tomorrow night. That's my truth. That's my truth. Where is it? Where are the notes from? Yeah. What else we're saying? If we win, then Brisbane will be the elimination final. Krugs is back. Yeah, so all right, well let's have at it. Who's going to be in? Who's going to be out? What are we thinking? Right? So Goey is the obvious out. Yeah. So we got Goey is going to be out. JDG out. I think that could be it's probably just a straight swap, isn't it, for Nathan Kruger? And then is there anybody else that needs to come in outside of that? Are you going to bring anybody else in? That's the question. You popped up on my Instagram and followed you and looked into your YouTube, and I've probably been watching since last year. Oh, cool. Awesome. Love that. Did I watch the Black and White show? When did they release that? Is there another one? Harvey Harrison, maybe. Sydney should have had a week on the beers and will come out firing. Close at halftime will be a good game for the Pies. We have a good record at the Swans, but some bad memories amongst them. Yeah, there's a lot to be considered. A lot of fringe players will be in the conversation. Oleg Markov, can he come back into the squad? Harvey Harrison, what's he worth at the moment? Joe Richards. And then you talk about the Pinsky being a little bit out of form. It'll be interesting. Don't upset the apple cart, a wise man once said. It was a winning team. It was a winning team on the weekend. And we were the team that played the better footy for 3 quarters, right? So it wasn't one of those games where we were chasing ass the whole game. We came from behind. This team played like a winning side for 3 quarters. So let's just keep it the way it is outside of the Goey, right? That's what I'm thinking. It's been some time since we've been in Sydney, as Kev actually brings it up right on time. Round 10, 2019. But I like to think we do well interstate with our backs against the wall. Brisbane are average at MCG. Think positive. We got this. In my opinion, the matches ranked easiest to hardest are Collingwood versus Brisbane, 2 Collingwood versus Melbourne, Sydney. Okay. Hang on. Why do you think Oleg will be back in Diggs? What have you seen that warrants that selection? We parked the bus now, like we did. You could see it early. You could see it early in that quarter. that it got to a certain point where it's like, yeah, we've really tapered off here and our tempo's been lost. It's a hard thing to navigate through as well. Naturally, you want to concede and slow down the game and kill it, and you think you've done enough. It's a tricky one, and it happens all the time. Teams slow down, they lose the desire to score. They think they've done enough. It's something that happens all the time. Yeah. Well, who's he going to come in for? Digsby? You think he's going to come in for Bytel? Which isn't necessarily like for like. What do you think? I'm not dropping Lipinski for him. I think Ned Long, while he wasn't amazing on the weekend, I think he deserves more of a chance. I also want to see Kruger in the backline, Steve, but I don't think that's going to happen as long as Billy Frampton plays the way he did. Sorry, guys. I'm sorry. I think Billy Frampton is still a Band-Aid. He's still a Band-Aid. And if I had it my way, Kruger's playing in a backline this weekend. If I had it my way, Nathan Kruger would be in the backline instead of Billy Frampton. I just think Billy Frampton is a Band-Aid for our backline dramas at the moment. Do you agree? Is that fair enough? He played a great game. He was one of our best players against Carlton. But the reality is he doesn't do that all the time. Fly should be dropping IQ if he doesn't. He's in trouble. He's on fraud watch. The only problem with Sydney is the ground. We can't make it big. It's a contested game up there. Well, good thing, Manny. Sydney have been a bottom 2 side for contested ball in the last 5 games. And they've been horrible with the ground balls. We've just come off a game where we just beat one of the best contested ball sides in the league. So I think we've really got something to lean on going into this game. The side should be picked to expose their lack of height in defense and our small forwards to stretch their defense, forcing the midfield to continually rolling back. There you go, Stefanos with the game plan. There and there. Yeah, tight game. We can do this. Lance, how are you, mate? Where are you watching the game? Pub? Home? Am I really sorry? Not really. Not really. Brother. Theo, no. No more Japan updates. Home. Back in Melbourne. Welcome. Welcome back. Pies by 38 if the Swans play like that shit. Sydney don't have a dominant... So I'm pretty sure Joel Amadi comes back. And he gave us some dramas last game, didn't he? I thought he gave us some dramas. Let's go back. Let's go back to this game because, boy, was it a tough game to concede. What's our percentage? Collingwood are a 4.7% chance of making the top 8 right now. Collingwood are a 4.7% chance of making the top 8. Essendon are 16%, 16.3% chance. And Nick Dacos, just looking at the Brownlow stuff. I think my mouse just died. Nick Dacos is number 1 for Brownlow predictions. But that's that. Let's go to this Sydney game. I remember this being a really high turnover game for the Pies. Extremely high turnover game. Like, particularly in our defensive half, we just could not move the ball. We had too many turnovers. It was horrible, wasn't it? And that was our unveiling of the flag, unfortunately, that game. It ended up being unfortunate, right? Isaac Heaney killed us. He got the coach's votes. He was the highest rated player in the field. He had 29 disposals and he kicked his 2 goals. Chad Warner, another player who's been killing it this year up until the last few games, but he's dropped off an edge. Darcy Cameron's been good, obviously. Thank you. Coconut water coming in clutch. Here we go. Need this. That's the one. That's what I needed. All right. So let's go look at the score sources and talk about what I mentioned before. Yeah, so they scored 77 points from turnover, which is massive. 48 points is AFL average. And they scored 77, which is unbelievable. Let me just fact check. The AFL average for turnovers, scores from turnovers, team stats. Scores from turnovers. Here we go. Yeah, 48 points. And the highest average, they are still across the season, they are still the number one team from turnover. They average 55 points per game. However, in the last 5 matches, that has changed. And they are now the worst team when it comes to scoring from turnover. So there's 3 score sources, yeah? There's turnover, there's stoppages, there's kick-ins, and then there's scoring origin. And that's defensive half and forward half for those who want to get their head around that. 3 score sources, turnover, stoppage, kick-ins. I think is kick-ins considered a score source? I'm pretty sure it is. Yeah, it is. Turnover, stoppage, kick-ins, and then the origin are defensive half and forward half, and centre bounce as well. Okay. So if Sydney want to try and replicate what they did to us in round 1, they're going to have to find that turnover game. And we played heavily into them. We played heavily into their ways. We gave them the ball. I think it'll be a different kind of game. Not saying we win, but I'm saying the way the game played out, the way we were beaten, we beat ourselves that game. So I think that's going to be different. All right. Keane from Adelaide will be replacing Frampton next season, potentially so. That would be good. What scares me is as soon as Goey went out, we fell apart in the centre. Yeah, but Carlton have Cripps as well, right? He turned it on. He went crazy. Yeah, hopefully Warner doesn't return to form. Hopefully he doesn't return to form because when he's good, he's unbelievable. Yep, Keane, another defender. Whoa. Who are the best young talent not getting who are the best young talent not getting a regular game? We don't really have much talent outside of what we're displaying right now, mind of own. We have TJ, Dimatia, and Ilaru Smith who aren't getting a regular game. That's probably it. That's probably it, to be truthful. Jams. Dan McStay kicks 5 goals and pies by 11. Love that. Who is Mason Cox going to run into this time, champs? Who does my head in for Sydney? Nick Blakey, 100%. Collingwood by 11 points, but I wouldn't be surprised if we dominate them. Also have a VFL game tomorrow. Is there a curtain raiser, Kev? Is that a curtain raiser into this game? Enlighten me. Feel like Sydney will wake up and, of course, against Collingwood. Hopefully not. Hopefully we can put them to bed. Put the demons to bed. All right, let's go. Let's go have a look at Fly's presser. Why don't we? Collingwood. Let's see. Oh, let's watch this black and white show with Mason Cox. Share screen.
Emirates. Here's to more moments, more celebrations, and more success. Together with Emirates.
All right, good day, Collingwood fans. Mason Cox here, Bogan Mason Cox at the moment. We're here to ask some Olympic questions, Olympic-themed black and white show. So we're going to figure out exactly how much knowledge some of the teammates have in the Olympics. Pump some iron. And we got the best mustache man in the world. Now, you have some Olympic heritage in you.
Yep.
Is that correct? Can you give us a little bit of the background of it?
Dad's a 3-time Olympian, world champion, number 1 dad in the world. He was a land pole vaulter.
Pretty impressive. Now, have you been watching the pole vaulting?
Yeah, I saw the world record get broken. Pretty good.
Pretty impressive. The Swede?
Did you know Markov had an Olympic background, ladies and gentlemen?
Pretty. Well, we can bleep that out.
100-meter dash. I'll go with Bo, then Bobby. Then I'll back myself in for a medal.
The 1956 Olympics. Where do you think they were held? Especially the swimming portion specifically. Any idea?
No.
You're standing on top of it.
I was thinking of saying.
This is where the pool used to be. The 2028 Olympics, where are they going to be?
I don't know. Let's go Oklahoma.
That's a state, but
It's gonna be in the States.
let's say you're running the 4x100 Olympic swim. The top 4 athletes you're chunking in your team.
I'm getting DC in there. He moves through the water pretty well. Not TJ, not Nick. Big Roo, I reckon, is a good swimmer. I'll show him. I'll be the 4th. I'll bring us home.
Oh, yes, okay. You back yourself in.
Who do I like for 3rd? Checkers goes through the water all right, yeah.
The big Quadzilla. Looking good. Great form. Great form. Jeez, boys love the Black and White Show. Big fans. Big fans of the Black and White Show. We over here? Yep. Yeah, cool. All right, we're here with the great man, Nathan Kruger. Now, we're talking Olympics today. We're talking Olympics. Now, can you tell me what your favorite sport to watch over the Olympic period is?
Oh, controversial for me
Yep.
because partner should be over there. The 8s.
Mm.
Really enjoy the 8s. The 100.
Yep.
Watched Claudia Hollingsworth at 3 a.m. I think it was on Monday or Tuesday.
Yep.
That was good. She ran really well. Got to the first semi. Got to the semi. But other than that, just the track. Other than everything else is.
Can you explain to me why the country's flag colors are red, white, and blue, but yet we compete in green and gold?
That's a good question. I actually don't know, but all I know is the kangaroo and the emu are the 2 animals that never go backwards.
And that is why it's the national animal. That's very good information by you. That was on my citizenship test. Yeah. There you go. There you go. All right. Now, where was the 1956 Olympics held? Do you have any idea?
Right here.
Yes. What is he going for? Is that 60s he's working with? Yeah, 60 kilos. Well done, Nick. Stepping it up. Let's say you're running 4x100 sprint. Who you got in that? Who are you picking? Who's your top 4 from the team?
You,
It's like 3 steps, but yeah.
you, me,
Yep.
Booker.
Yep.
I'm going tall, obviously. You, me, Booker, and then we'll go real small. So like Jamie Elliott. All right.
Jimmy,
Could you imagine a 100-meter sprint between Coxie, Kruger, DC, and then you throw Elliott into it? That would be an interesting spectacle.
he's the finisher, right? He's the last. Yeah, I'd just love to see us trying to hand off a baton between the 4 of us and absolutely just being terrible at it. No, we actually still need to go against Peter Bowl.
He has put that out there, so we do need to.
I think, yeah, we put it out there, but it's. I pushed it a little bit. We are hoping he's all the best for him. Yeah, he's coming up. He's got his competition. Oh, this is lovely. Who do we got here? We got Brussy would be good. And we're trying to think of who's going to be the best high jumper at the club. Do you have any comments? Who do you have?
Who have I got? I'll go Jeremy Howe. Booker, Darcy Cameron will get silver, and then I reckon yourself will get bronze.
I'll take that. It's just a step over the bar for me, but 5 rings. Do you know what the 5 rings represent?
No idea.
Do you know the colors of the 5 rings? Name the 2 biggest cities in America.
It's not. Oh, hey, Florida's not.
Give me. Just come with me here. We'll just have a look.
Somebody needs to bring back the original Black and White Show, or get somebody else to run this, because this is not it. When you're used to Heath Shaw, Dane Swan, who else? just a bunch of the older blokes running this show. It's a steep fall from grace when we're seeing something like this.
Look over here. There's the Olympic rings over there. If you want to go see them on that bridge. There you go.
Yellow,
Yep.
green, blue.
Elite. Well done. Where's the Lakers play?
Oh, LA.
There it is. We've got to win. That's a great. It's a long way to get to the answer, but we got there. Yeah, LA. Do you know where the actual Olympics are being held right now?
Yeah, Paris.
Okay, good. We got that one. We got a good one. Who'd be the best gymnast on the team?
Will Hoskin Elliott.
Yeah. Tom Mitchell's not going to be happy with that.
Yeah, no, he's elite.
And I appreciate your time, mate.
Thank you, mate. It's been a pleasure.
Anytime. Oh, dude. Thanks so much.
Okay. Well, that wasn't my favorite piece of content, but that's okay. What have we got here? There's no grunt in the guts without Goey and Mitchell. Be an adjustment period, that's for sure. Do we think Sydney will use Parker and Adams or James Jordan to tag Dacos? Maybe. They didn't. I don't think they tagged Dacos in the first game when we played them this year. So I don't know if maybe they continue to not do that. We'll find out. It helps when Goey's not there. They just have one less, I guess, game minute to worry about. So they can put more eggs in the Nick Dacos basket. So it'll be interesting to see how we work that. Nakos and Crispy to tear him a new one. Dan and Coxie also to shine. Love that, Boomer. How are you, Boomer? Dane Swan coming back to do one would be funny as it would be. It would be. Yeah, the black and white shows of today will never match those of yesteryear, unfortunately, for many reasons. I have a feeling Sydney will not play like the past few weeks because after that they will come out on fire after they lost to Port. True. Coxie is a bit lame. He can be. I don't know. It's weird. I love his antics on the field. Off the field, I don't know. I don't know him personally, so I can't really comment further than that. But I've just gauge off what I see when it comes to these things. I wouldn't cry myself to sleep at night if I never get to have a coffee or a beer with Coxie, right? How you doing, Anthony? I'm good. How are you? How are we feeling? Was there a presser? Was there a presser for Fly, ladies and gentlemen? Collingwood. Was there a presser? Yes. Okay. Let's watch this presser then.
Wow. Together for 25 years. Here's some silver to celebrate our silver anniversary. We want to thank our oldest and our most celebrated Emirates. Here's to more moments, more celebrations, and more success. Together with Emirates.
Great. It's been a busy morning news-wise. Dustin Martin's retired. Effective immediately. Tom Hawkins is going to retire at the end of the season. Just your initial reactions, I guess.
Oh, look, I worked with Dusty for a number of years, and what a remarkable player. What a player, huh? Yeah, the memories of grand final wins and him single-handedly lifting Richmond over the line and up at the Gabba, that game stands out for me. But yeah, what an incredible career he had.
How was it for you when you had to turn from being part of that support team, I guess, to having to figure out how to stop him when you're at Collingwood?
Oh, he was unstoppable, really. Yeah, when he gets that fen going, the trademark fen that now others have copied throughout the league, and what an incredible young man too. Very, very isolated, very quiet. I think my memories of Dusty, he'd probably have 100 words to use in a day, and he probably wouldn't use them all up. But what a player, and I'm sure we'll celebrate him across the competition.
How about Tom Hawkins? What are your memories of coaching against him?
Well, my first memories of Tom was when he turned it on in the grand final in 2011 against Collingwood. I was working here at the time, and he had a sort of coming out party that day, and just the incredible longevity and the ability to keep impacting, and great success. It was an integral part of the success, and the game's record holder now. So two greats of the game are no longer with us.
Obviously, the news has been confirmed with Joy how severe that hamstring is. I guess the fallout been for that would have been pretty devastating for him.
Oh yeah. Like it goes straight into love and support mode for Geordie. His season's done, and this time of the year it doesn't take much to have your season done. 2 or 3 weeks or 5 or 6 weeks, it becomes difficult. And he's been chasing his tail this year, Geordie. You would have seen it training. He couldn't get through many sessions, and then we kept struggling to get him to the line. And it's unfortunate his season's come to an end.
How do you replace him? Have you got anyone in mind?
No, we don't replace Geordie. I don't think he's replaceable, to be honest. But then we look at other avenues and other options for us. And his centre bounce work is good.
There's the cliche. We don't replace Geordie. You can't replace Geordie. Well, we do replace Geordie. We replace Geordie with someone else, right? Cliche McRae.
There's anyone in the competition, and he's impacting games. Yeah, so what he can do in the game just gone and only a half a footy, he really has high impact. So hard to replace, but we'll find someone that can do something maybe not at that level.
You have to change almost your structure because the way he plays, that sort of 80-metre player who can burst away and also go forward, like you have to say it's not replaceable. You have to just
Somewhat. Yeah, well, look what we do. He can play as a midfielder and forward, and sometimes plays in between those phases. So we'll look a bit deeper at what that looks like.
Did you catch the Port Adelaide and Sydney game last week?
I did.
And what did you take from that?
It was a game like I hadn't seen before, and I think those outlier games are hard to sort of measure. Port were enormous, and then obviously I listened to John's press conference, and there's a level of like, wow, what happened then? Yeah, we had a performance only 2 weeks ago, or 3 now, that we weren't proud of, and so then from that performance you get to work and go back to basics and what you stand for. So we're certain that we're going to meet an opposition that will go back to basics and come with what they stand for.
Is there anything you can take into Friday night's game from that game?
Oh, there's some things. Yeah, you don't want to completely ignore it, but being such an outlier, the numbers and the score, like you remember another game like that? I don't recall another game like that. So you'd think that's an outlier. It's not a pattern. So you think that there's some things you can take out of it, but there's other things you go, okay, that won't happen again.
Finn McRae seems to be doing pretty well at the VFL level. What does he need to do to get a proper run at it rather than being the same?
Yeah, I spoke to Finn yesterday, funnily enough, and we catch up regularly, and I'm about trying to provide an opportunity for Finn, or we are, and we want the best version of him. Pick him up and push him towards being a regular AFL player. There's little things. We speak about little things, around his role and then what's required in those things. But regular conversations to try to get the best out of him and other players.
Just Tom Mitchell, it feels like he just never really got going after the thing came up. Was that the sense you had?
Yeah, well, it got to a stage where there's just a pile on. Like he had the foot, and then he had the appendicitis, and so there's a lot of things that just were weighing against him. And just common sense says let's just look after yourself and have a bit of time off now, and then start a pre-season earlier. He's still got a bit of life left in those legs, we hope.
Similar to Finn McRae, Lockie Sullivan, he's been good in the VFL, had a good stretch in the AFL side. Is he into consideration this week?
Yeah, Lockie will come into consideration. Geordie out as a mid-forward type, and Locke can play that role. And it's nice to have players that have got experience now. We started the year, he'd never played, and Finn was someone we wanted to lean on, and there's other guys like Ned Long now taking opportunities, and Will Parker, and it's nice to have a bit more depth because we've exposed a few.
How did your list management meeting go last week? Are you a bit closer to announcing or to deciding on the futures of a few measurements?
Yeah, very, very good by you. Just to follow up that we had a meeting last week, and we've got another one today, funnily enough. We're meeting weekly at the pointy end of this season. We go through all out-of-contract players. Some we can't quite commit to yet. That's just the natural course of most teams will be doing that. But I'm not going to announce what we're doing around list management to our media, even though we love our 110,000 members. Thank you for joining again this year and all you're doing for us.
Obviously breathe a bit of life into things again on the weekend. How are you feeling? Like, obviously the injuries have mounted up, but you are still very much in play.
Yeah, well, this is it. This is the competition, isn't it? Like every team seems to be going through it. I think, what if we lost 4 games in a row, and Geelong lost 6 or 7, and then you look at Sydney going through that now. It's such a tight competition. So, we'd like to think we're getting a lot of personnel back that make us a better team, and then we're playing at a level that we're starting to build. It's a nice time to build.
A certain level of familiarity with Sydney, obviously not just what they can do, but Brody, Taylor Adams. There's in that midfield battle, there's a fair bit of familiarity.
Yeah, and there's a lot of respect for those guys. They've been integral part of Collingwood for a long time, and they'll forever be Collingwood players, just playing for the opposition this week. And we respect those guys, but we go up there with a purpose. This is going to be a huge game, and there's a lot at stake. So tune in Friday night should be a big one.
Jeremy Howe, milestone game, and is he one of those ones that you're having those ongoing conversations?
Well, we'll celebrate his milestone this week, and 250 games for a guy that's been across the road there for a bit and then come here, and what a great father, what a great role model for our young players around the way he prepares. And I think of Howie for a lot of things. His marking stands out, but his fight, his desire, and his want to win and compete is something that we'll hang on to and hopefully inspire others.
Get anyone back this week?
Not at the moment. I think we're pretty okay in terms of injuries other than Geordie, and then we might weigh up who comes in to replace Geordie.
Nathan Kruger.
He's cleared to play from his concussion protocols. Yeah.
Just that game at the SCG, smaller dimension. Syndey probably looking to respond. Is it one where you feel like they're gettable? Is it one that's particularly challenging after the last few weeks?
Yeah, we go up with good confidence, but then again, speaking about the outlier of last week, you'd like to think there's going to be a different version of them. And John's talking about the contests, so we've got to be ready for that. And they're a high pressure team, and they're still sitting on top of the ladder for a reason. They've got a lot of quality, and they're going to be hard to beat at home. And we'll go up with confidence that we'll have a plan to beat them.
On the back of a highly emotional game, but very short week, do you continue that theme, or do you change it up a bit to refresh?
The emotion around Pendles?
Yeah.
No, we've got a plan that we'll attack them with. It's milestones are one thing, but we don't want to play better because of a milestone. We don't want to play more urgent because of a milestone. We want to play a certain standard, and we have DNAs attached to those things. And every week our fans want to watch us bring a best version of us. Milestones are the cream on the cake, if you like, and we'll celebrate that before the game and ideally after as well. Thank you, guys.
A nice little cliche and dodge of a question there by Fly at the end. Hey, Jimbo. Fly has a career in politics once he wins us a couple more flags. What did he say? He said he doesn't want milestones to be driving us into the game. I think, however, if you look historically, I would argue there's probably a winning record for teams that are playing with milestone players. Kyden's in the chat. Champs, how are we? Champs, how was your day? How's Adelaide? Radelaide. Yeah, so that's that. What do we take out much from that? So Stav.
Wow.
Oh,
Together for 25 years.
Shut up,
Here's some
Darcy.
silver.
No, enough from you, Darcy. Had enough. No more airport ads. Okay. Yeah, the Goey out. In. Well, Kev suggests Richards is in for somebody, but then there's also Kruger. I can't see Kruger not being in the side, but I don't know who for. I do, yeah. Stealth, I do think Kruger comes back into the side. I just don't know who for. That's the question, right? Who can you drop? Let me look at the squad from last week, and I'll tell you. I'll give you more of a picture. Let me see. So we go back. We peel our eyes back to round 21. Collingwood versus Carlton. The teams are out at 6:20. Kynan, we'll do the team release at 6:20. That's when they come out. Lineups, okay. So that back line is pretty set, if you ask me, for now. Billy Frampton, Darcy Moore, Isaac Quaynor, John Noble, Jeremy Howe, Nick Dacos. Wing, still side bottom, and Josh Dacos, although Josh Dacos plays off the half-back flank, Nick Dacos plays off in the middle. Jack Crisp in the centre. Well, like I said, the Goey's out. Maynard, you're not dropping him. Hoskin Elliott, you're not dropping him. Congratulations to Hoskin Elliott, by the way, for signing that new contract. Longy could be in some danger. I'd be disappointed if Bytel gets dropped. I think it will be. I don't know if Kruger gets back in. I genuinely don't think Kruger. Ah, God. This is a conundrum. Just looking at the squad. And Hostin Elliott played really well in the forward line. Nah, I don't think Markov gets back in. I think McCreary holds his spot. Yeah, I was saying kind of like Frampton is a bit of a band-aid, but the band-aid is serving well at the moment, so you can't drop him. Oh man, I don't know. I don't think Kruger makes it back into the side this week. Just looking at the team, fuck, somebody's going to be stiff. Somebody's going to be stiff. But, yeah, I don't know if you can drop Bytel. Lipinski, maybe he's in some sort of strife. Side bottom. Yeah, okay. So I think it's going to be Jordan De Goey for Joe Richards and Ned Long for Sullivan. That's what I think. Joe Richards and Sullivan for Ned Long and De Goey. Or Harvey Harrison. By the way. Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, I do not think. How many games do we lose when Will Hoskin Elliott gets over 15 touches? It's a good question. Let me see if I can answer that for you. Let me see. How can I do that? AFL tables. Will Hoskin Elliott. Let me try and go to work on that one, Didact Delight. How many games do Collingwood win? Disposals. Well, that conversation's immediately redundant when you factor in Will Hoskin Elliott in 2021 averaged 15.7 disposals per game, and we only won 6 games that year. And he played all 20 of them. Well, he played 20 games, sorry, and won 6 of them. So there goes that infatuation with that stat. Lipper or Long, I'd say won't make the 8. Lock it in, confirmed. I don't think Kruger can get back in. Won't make the 23. Honestly, I reckon Lipper is close. I think he's still got some life in him, though. I reckon he's still around. I reckon Finn McRae will get a full-time mid-run this weekend. Maybe so. Always performing well in the VFL. Champs, who do you prefer in the team? Joe Richards or Harrison? I think Richards has more X factor, but I think Harrison could be more of your consistent winger. The good thing is, Steve-O, they both have potential and they've shown great signs. And I'd love Richards to be in the side today. Harvey over Kruger. Yeah. Harvey. That's what I was saying. Either Harvey or Sullivan for De Goey and then Joe Richards for Ned Long. Probably go unchanged or straight swap Harvey Harrison for JDG. Yeah. Something like that. Wilbur's been on fire lately. Hopefully another big game tomorrow night. How many games does Syndey have less than 60% disposal efficiency? I can answer that, I can answer that. I can do that. I'd say that'd be a few. He's not impervious to a bad game when it comes to kicking the pill, right? I'll pull it up though. He wouldn't be too far off 60% this year. 66%. So his career average is 72%, and he's currently sitting at 66% disposal efficiency. He's had years back in 2014 and 2015 and 2018 where he was averaging 75% disposal efficiency. His better years, he sits at 75% for each of those seasons, and his lower end, 66. Is 66 his lowest of the year? No, 2020 was. But he only played 9 games. So it's a skewed season, 9 games. Trust me, champs. HH to come. Yeah, it's fair. So you're saying the Goey for HH? And apparently we're hearing Joe Richards is in the 23, so somebody's going to come out for him, right? Yep. HH is at the level. Are we having run with players this week against their mids? Collingwood don't really have anyone to run with those players. Ned Long, but he's probably not going to be in the side. I don't think Reef comes in, personally. Richards, yep. Harvey Harrison for JDG, I reckon more than Sally. Yeah, fair call. Jimbo, I reckon Goulden and Blakey are more damaging than their mids. Read ball movement. Yeah, that is true. It's true. We just don't have many defensively minded players who want to necessarily lock down a player. We focus on the team emphasis. Bytel doesn't get dropped being playing well. Yep. He's showing something. I reckon I could put a Glover from the VFL in and I'd be so happy. Me too. But he doesn't want to play AFL. He doesn't want to play AFL. Bring in one more. Go really lacking that inside mid at times. Fair call, Ricky. All right. Whether you love it or hate it, I'm intrigued. Squiggle, I want to do a ladder predictor. I want to know. I personally want to know what it's going to take. So we're going to do it. We've still got 14 minutes. I want to know what it takes for Collingwood to make the finals. A ladder predictor. Let's do it. All right. Are we picking Collingwood? Should I pick Collingwood? Or I might pick Syndey for this one. Just hypothetically, we lose one more game, right? Let's see what happens. Let's go Syndey by 11. Let's go Brisbane win that. We'll go West Coast here. I will go Geelong versus Fremantle. Damn. Geelong versus Fremantle is an interesting one. Let's go Geelong. Let's go Essendon win that. Melbourne versus Port Adelaide. Port win that. Carlton versus Hawthorn. Ooh, this one really is pertinent to Collingwood situation. Let's go Hawthorn. Richmond versus St Kilda. Doesn't really matter. Let's go St Kilda by 25. Adelaide versus the Doggies. Adelaide will have a crack, but Doggies will get it. Essendon versus Sydney. Sorry, that's Sydney. Gold Coast versus Melbourne. We'll go Gold Coast. GWS versus Fremantle. Let's go Fremantle. Now, Collingwood are going to go all the way now, okay? Collingwood are going to go all the way and win every game. St Kilda versus Geelong. That's an easy one. Port Adelaide versus Adelaide. Maybe Port by 2 points. Bulldogs versus Fremantle. Hawks. This is a danger game. I'm just saying. In Perth, this is a danger game, but I do have to give it to Carlton. Brisbane versus Essendon. Brisbane are going to do us some favours across the next few weeks, by the way, guys. Carlton. Geelong versus West Coast. That's one easy. Hawthorn have West Coast and North. Collingwood will win that. Richmond versus Gold Coast. Fuck it, we'll go Richmond for Dusty's farewell at the MCG. Sydney versus Adelaide. We'll go Sydney. Bulldogs versus GWS. We'll go Bulldogs. And it comes down to this last game. Collingwood can't lose. Collingwood can't lose a game. So that's if Collingwood lose, right? What are we? So we're out on possession. Are we out on percentage here? Or we're out by a game by 2 games. 1 game. If we lose. Plus percentage. All right. Let's try that again, but this time we beat Sydney, yeah? Let's try this ladder predictor again. It's clear that Collingwood need to win every game, right? If we didn't know that already, but we're gonna see what that looks like. Let's go Collingwood. All right, Brisbane, West Coast, Geelong, Essendon, Port. Let's go Carlton this time round. Let's go St Kilda, Doggies, Sydney, Gold Coast. We do have to win every game. GWS versus Freo. Let's go Freo. Collingwood are going to win every game. Geelong, Port, Doggies, Hawthorn, Carlton, Brisbane, Carlton, Geelong, Hawks. Man, fucking Hawks. They've got such a good run. Collingwood. Richmond, Gold Coast. Richmond, Dusty's farewell. Sydney. We've got to go with Doggies. Fremantle versus Port, Freo. Yeah, okay. So that's how we get in, barring a few other results. So it might come down to that GWS Bulldogs game where we need the Bulldogs to beat GWS to push them out of the 8. And Bulldogs will be fighting for top 4. So what's ironic in that, guys, is we could be left with a Collingwood versus Carlton of 2022 situation where we are the Bulldogs in 22. We're out of the 8, and we need the Doggies to win to keep GWS out of the 8 while also locking up top 4 position for the Doggies. So there you have it. Oh, sorry. Let's do the final series. So there you have it. Collingwood versus Carlton elimination final. I think we know how that one goes. Sydney versus the Doggies. I think Doggies go on a bit of a dream run. Port versus Freo. I think Port. And I think Brisbane. Sydney versus Collingwood at the SCG. God, this is tough. We'll go Collingwood. And then we'll go Port. And then we'll go the Doggies. And then we'll go the Pies. And then the Pies win the flag. And then the Pies win the flag. So we beat Brisbane in a prelim. So there you go. That's how it goes down. Yeah. So it depends. It depends on GWS. Hawthorn still don't make the finals. Carlton are thereabouts. Look at that, though. Look at that. When was the last time? Like, is there a world where has there been a year where a team has finished first and lost 7 games? And look how many wins they get. You need 14 wins this year because of obviously the draw. You're probably going to need 14 wins just to make the 8. Just to make the 8. That's crazy. Very fascinating, hey. So that's for those just joining in, Collingwood just doing the ladder predictor just to get a gauge of what needs to happen. And it could be interesting with GWS hanging around the mark. It could be interesting. It could go down. It will go down to the last week. And unfortunately, guys, even if we win every game, there are results that need to go our way. Well, wait, how many wins did Hawks have? How many wins did Hawks have in 2014? AFL tables 2014. Give me 1 second. Let's see how many wins they had. Nah. Sydney and Hawthorn had 5 losses each that year. So let's go to 2015. When was the last time a top placed team? Let me share this tab. I'll add it. See if you guys can see it. So, okay, so 2015, 5 losses. Like, when was the last time a team had 7 losses and finished first? Let's go 2016. I think Sydney were the dominant team this year. Can you guys see the screen? Can you guys see the screen? 5 losses again. Let me know if you can see the screen. I'm sharing the screen at the moment. 2017. Yeah, you can see it. Please. Chris says, please. Please, please. Please, man. Please. 6 losses. Okay, so 2017, there were 2 teams that finished top 2 and had 6 losses, right? Okay, so let's forget about everything else. Let's go to the current day. Chris, we just did a ladder predictor, and it's gonna take a lot just to get to the finals. That's facts. So 24, where are we? Sydney already have 6 losses right now. That's crazy. We didn't have that many, Kynan. I think we finished on 6 losses last year, which is reasonable. Sydney already on 7. Sydney already on 7. We had 5 losses last year. So 5 losses is a really good. It's a reasonable first place team to finish the year. Sydney is 7. Yeah. 4 minutes till the teams come out. 4 minutes. And for those who are wondering, again, this is the ladder predictor that we did. There we go. That's where we find ourselves. Sydney could have 8 losses. At least we weren't being belted by Port. Yeah. So GWS play the Bulldogs in the last round. Bulldogs and GWS play in the last round. Bulldogs will be fighting for a top 4 spot. GWS will be fighting to keep their spot in the top 8. And we will need GWS to lose. So Collingwood can make the 8. And Hawthorn miss, Essendon miss. So these teams are stiff. Yeah, it does, Maddie. So that is inclusive of percentage. So the reason why we're in the 8, Maddie, based on this ladder predictor, is because of our 2 draws. So we're a game ahead of these 2. To be fair, did I put any smashings in for Collingwood? Not really. So hey, if we can win a couple games by 5-6 goals, that would do us a world of good, because if that's the case, even if GWS do beat Bulldogs, and even if Hawthorn win their will find their way on the same amount of points as us, if we can get a couple games where we win by 5 goals, percentage is less of a problem. But hopefully if it does go down to that, hopefully the Doggies can return us the favour like we did for them in 22. No Premier has lost 7 games. There you go. Brilliant, Stephanos. Love that. That's very fascinating. No team. So Sydney, I'll share this tab. In 2024, have already lost 7 games. 6 games, sorry. And no team has ever done that. I can see Brisbane not losing a game from here. I can see Sydney dropping a couple more. Heaps of tough matchups coming up. Collingwood have, we're 11th, yeah? Get this right. We're 11th. We've lost 8 games. We've only lost 2 more games in Sydney. We've only lost 2 more games in Brisbane. That's how close it is this year. Look at that. There is a 2-loss gap between 11th and first place. Go figure. That's unbelievable. Yeah, exactly. The Dogs needed us to beat the Blues. So hopefully the Doggies can return the favour. Well, that's just proof how good we were last year. That's wild. Yeah, we were good. think we were, like 10-1 after the first 11 games. We've won 2 of those 9 games. We need to beat Swans, Lions, Demons, win elimination final, semi, prelim, and grand final. If we do, it will be the greatest grand final win ever, 100%. Melbourne could have a few in for surgery if they lose this week, and we could rinse them in the last round. That would be amazing. Okay. Stav has done some math for us. I've done the math. If we win by an average of 58 points per game, we won't have to worry about percentage. There you go. Hopefully, Sydney might have heavy legs in the second half as they travelled last week, plus had the week off. They had a few days off, yeah. All right, let's go have a look at the teams. Why don't we? I don't foresee there being many changes. Yep, give me 1 sec, Kynan. Don't spill the beans. I'm coming. Lineups. It's nearly there. It is tighter than a sardine can, says Maddie and Missy Travels. There you go. Joe Richards in for Jordan De Goey. There you go. Who's out? In for Sydney, Dane Rampy, which is huge for them. Joel Amati, which is huge for them. Campbell's good. Cleary, okay. Francis out. Wicks, Wicks, Francis, Laddams, and Warner all out. I didn't think Kruger was going to make it, unfortunately. Kruger was not going to make it, unfortunately. That's the... Oh, well. We'll see how things pan out. He's stiff to miss, but what do you do? What do you do? Frampton is essentially keeping him out for this week. Long sub or Lipinski? I think we will see now. I think Joe Richards might be. The sub. Kynan, I don't think this is going to happen. This is like, look where Nick Dacos is. Look where Josh Dacos is. Like, this is very inaccurate. Take this with the biggest grain of salt you can find, yeah? Just look at the names. All that matters is the names. Sullivan emergency, Will Parker emergency, yeah. I still think Joe Richards will be the sub. Yeah. Hey, if we make the grand final, fucking De Goey and Mychek will be playing. But that's a long way away. So 1, 2, 3, 4. The good thing going for Collingwood there is they're bringing in 2 players who've been out for some time. I don't know about these 2. And then 4 outs. Remember when Gold Coast, we made quite a number of changes for the Gold Coast game, and it really backfired against us. I wonder if that is going to be the same thing for Sydney. I wonder if that will be the same thing. Let's go have a look at other games that are relevant, such as this game, Brisbane versus GWS. That will be a banger at 145. 145. Okay, relatively unchanged. Cool. Josh Kelly back in for GWS. That hurts. That hurts me. Freo versus Dockers. I got my eye on that one. My eyes are on that one as well. Lineups. Mitch Duncan back in. Gary Rowan back in. What ended up happening to Sam De Koning, guys? What did he do? Josh Tracy out. James Aish. Tom Emmett. Neil Erasmus. Some big outs, but a big in, or a relatively big in Nat Fife. So, interesting. ACL scare. Was it confirmed? Is it confirmed ACL for Sam De Koning? Essendon. Be nice if Gold Coast could pip. They could pip. If Gold Coast could pip Essendon. Jed Walter. Lukosius out. Roses, Fiorini, Joel Jeffrey. Buderick in. Rogers, Davies, Walter. Some decent in. Ben Hobbs in. Cool. Yeah. Anyhow, guys, I'm going to leave it at that for tonight. Time for dinner. I'm hungry. I got salmon and halloumi coming up. So I'm keen to see you all tomorrow. We'll do a pre-game show. Probably a bit earlier, 5:30. And hopefully the post-game show, guys, we can all jump in. We can see Manny, hopefully in a positive tone. Manny Dacos. We'll see you guys tomorrow night. Go Pies.